Hello everyone, welcome back to the class of C programming. This time we are going to start a new chapter. It's the discussion of strings. But anyway, before we get to strings, let's still take a quick review about arrays. Okay, array. And in the C programming language we study, so far we introduced the three types of data. One it is the integer type, the other it is double type, the third type it is the char type, the character. Okay, and on the screen to the leftmost column, basically I declared three variables. One it is the integer type named m, one it is double type named d, and the other it is the char type, a character q. Okay, and also we mentioned we may have pointers. Pointer, it is the address of the variable or the address of the memory. And so you start with the name, put an asterisk before the name of the variable, which indicates PM. It is a pointer to an integer type of the variable. And similarly, PD, it is a pointer to a double type of variable. PCH, it is a pointer to a char type variable. And then in chapter 7, besides dealing with different types of data and pointers, and also we can have arrays. And still, we are still based our discussion on those three basic types covered in our class: int, double, and char. And accordingly, the first statement simply declares we are having an array of variables, 5, each of integer type, A5. And I hope you still remember when we have arrays in the C language, okay, we count the elements starting from 0. So indeed, int A5, it's having 5 elements. But anyway, those 5 elements are 0, A0, A1, A2, A3, A4. No actual element A5. Okay, be very careful. It is just the language, it is just designed in this way. Okay, so 5 elements. Similarly, when you have a double type defined with 3 elements, and accordingly, we are having those 3 elements, B0, B1, B2. And the character, an array of 10 characters. And indeed, we are only having, actually we do have 10 characters, but anyway, the index runs from 0 to 9. There's not an actual character element C10, okay? So it's worth to note that. And in many ways, I would say when we declare an array, we'd like to have access to each array element. So the way to access each array element, it is very simple. As you can see from the screen, basically you give the array name and then followed by pair of brackets. And then inside the bracket, it is the index, a single integer. And again, the only thing I want to remind here is the array index starts from 0, okay? And then if you understand this part, really, the array name followed by the index, it just plays a role like a single variable in the C language. So accordingly, when you want to put an array element as an input for a function, just to put the entire thing, the array name follow the index, as a variable in the function. Very similar thing. Okay, printf. We want to print out the element A3, and we want to print out the element D2, element CH5. Actually, I should make a correction here for the placeholder of character. It is C. Okay. Print out one character. And now, when you want to have an array element as the output of a function, and remember, do use the ampersand. It's the same thing for all three types, percentage %D, percentage %LF, percentage %C. And again, note, so I hope you still remember the way to print out a double type. You could use just print percentage %F directly, but for scanf, you're going to use percentage %LF. Okay, and then ampersand. This is as an import argument, and the ch5 as the import argument, ampersand 5. Still, you will have to match the placeholders. So this is really the reviewing part of chapter 7. And also I have some, well, I cannot say that's the program. It's just a segment of codes, how to access the array element one by one using a loop. So this is part of the statement here, 2 lines. Basically, I want to print out, let's say there's an array of double type, and I want to print out each element one by one. Well, one on a single line. So this is what I did. I make a loop. I run from 0 and I less than 8, and this is the initialization for the condition. And this is really will have to be checked first. If I is less than 8, certainly in the beginning I is 0, so less than 8 is true. And then it jumps into the body, and it will print out the array element, 0th element. Okay, but because the index of an array starts from 0. Index of an array starts from 0. And also remember this special thing. This is one special character, which means change it to a new line. /n, change it to a new line. Okay, and it print out a double type of an array element, and I forgot to put the percentage notation there. Otherwise, it simply is not correct. And also, this document, it is generated using the Word. So make sure if you are using any part of the notes for your program, make sure you do change those double quotation marks. Those double quotation marks got to be replaced with the quotation marks from the keyboard directly, not those fancy ones. Okay, not those fancy ones. So this is how we write a loop to access each array element in an array. And also, we like to have the sequential access to the array element, and let's say we want to assign values in a sequential waveform array. So this is how you can do it. And there are many different ways. I just want to show some idea. You make a loop, and there are array elements. So I has to be strictly less than 8. Okay, I starting from 0. And this is the initialization of the condition. This is the actual condition. And then move into the body, and then jumps out back to the increment part, okay, the update of the condition. I increased by 1, still less than 8, so it will get into the body. The for loop, the way for loop it is executed, it starts from the initialization, and then check with the condition. And then if the condition is true, move into the body. If the condition is not true, certainly it will leave this for loop. Okay. And then when the body is done, and it moves to the third segment in the parentheses. Okay, it will update the condition. In this case, the update simply to increase I by 1. And then it checks the condition again. Condition is true, get into the body. Then it repeats. That's the for loop. For loop. And also the other thing was to mention, when you are using for loop, make sure you know there is a potential issue. And the for loop may not do anything. Because this is the way how for loop works. First, it works on the initialization. Then it checks the condition. If the condition is true, it moves into the body, and then when the whole body is executed, it moves into the update part. Okay, the update, try to update the condition, and then check the condition again. And if the condition is true, it moves into the body. If the condition is not true, it will not do anything inside this pair of braces. Okay. So there is a potential issue. A for loop may not do anything. When you write your own code, think it very carefully. Okay. And well, actually, this is just a reviewing for the chapter 7. And anyway, before we move to chapter 8, the discussion of strings, still let's take a break. Thank you for watching.